Hi, this is Soul Work with Adriana Rose, otherwise known as Lady A at the Sedona Center for New Age. And I just wanted to shed some light on the duality of being a psychic medium and supporting the collective, and how, there's sweet and there's sour that comes along with it. So first, I want to celebrate a client that came to me back in August. She came back this past week and she said, "Oh my gosh, everything you said came true." Her predicament was really fragile when I first met her. She was getting ready to officially file for divorce, and she was separating from her husband, but they were still living in the same house. And she was, trying to find a job that would support her moving out of the home because they're trying to sell it. So when she came in, I was able to actually give her a timeline frame. And I told her you would be offered a position, a job, and you would be offered something to move you out of the house. You would find a place, and it would all happen by October, which was only a couple months from that meeting. And she came back in this week and she confirmed that everything happened in divine order. As I said, she found the job, she found the apartment, and she's navigating now in this like new timeline. So that was like an awesome experience for both of us. And she was so excited to give me confirmation on our first meeting. And I'm so grateful for that. That was really exciting. That was a really sweet treat for me. And any psychic, we do our work with integrity and grace and trust and faith, so when we get that confirmation back that everything played out the way that we had seen it for the highest and best, it's like such a dessert, it's such a sweet treat for us. Now I'll talk to you a little bit about the sour. So I did have a client that came in for a reading. She just had enough time for 15 minutes, which was fine. I can get a lot done in 15 minutes. However, she wouldn't stop talking. And even when I was trying to like ask spirit questions, she was talking, which kind of like interrupts the channel at that time. And like I said, we only had 15 minutes, and she basically wrote a bad review because she felt like it wasn't a real reading, what she was wanting. And I hesitate to like judge, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you're coming into a space to be read and you're not being specific with questions, you're just rambling on and on and on, it's like spirit's not going to be able to get in there, and it really has nothing to do with me. So, I politely hold space for everyone, especially if they need to talk and get things off their chest. I just allow, for that to happen. So that was a sour moment, and then I also received another bad review. And like I said, I get positive reviews all the time, but I'm educating with the negative reviews for a reason, because this is just kind of crazy. A woman that wanted a reading done for her pet came in, and the pet wasn't here, which is fine. I can do readings on, pets without them being here. That wasn't an issue at all. But she had asked for a 15-minute reading. And of course, like, I was excited to do it. When I went downstairs to get her, she just said, "Hey, my husband's gonna come in too." And I was hesitant, but I was like, okay, like that's fine. The thing is, it's like when there's more than one person in the room, that's double the work for the psychic, because there's more energy in the room. There's separated energy between two people, obviously, and then trying to read a third energy for a pet, it's a lot more work. So I since have said, okay, only one person is allowed in the room unless they book a couples reading for me. So what ended up happening was I began reading, and it was interesting because the pet was also giving me information around the masculine, the husband that was in the room. So really the reading was for him and his wife, and it turned into a couples reading. And they were both crying, emotional. They confirmed like the things I was channeling was, things that they had been talking about and discussing. And even the verbiage I was using was like the same verbiage that they use when they speak to the pet. So it was like a very successful reading. And when the timer went off 15 minutes, she had said something about her being a facilitator and having questions about her trip, her upcoming trip, because she was doing like a 3-week spiritual retreat. And they saw me turn the timer off, but they kept talking and sharing and asking questions. So I went with it, with the knowledge that she was a facilitator. I mistakenly assumed that she had awareness on the fact that, okay, if you're going to keep asking me questions and you're going to keep talking, then I'm going to extend the reading. So I just let them, talk and ask me more questions. And we ended up being a 30-minute reading. So I brought them downstairs after the 30 minutes. I heard the husband say something like, oh, you'll have to use your business credit card, to the wife. And so in my, in my mistaken assumption, I was like, okay, they know it's going to be more than the 15-minute. So I ended up charging them $111 for 30 minutes, even though a couples reading with me is listed as $144. And, they paid the $111 and they left. And, like I said, they were extremely happy with the reading. They were emotional. And the next day, she called the store clerk and she complained about the time and the price of the reading. And the store clerk, told her, we'll pass it on. We'll let her know that you guys were unhappy with that. And that was that. And so of course I was told, and I was like, yeah, I need to, even if someone is a facilitator, even if they're claiming to be in the spiritual business world, I need to be strict with my boundaries. So from that moment, I was like, no more, people in the room unless it's a couples reading. And, good to know that even facilitators aren't aware of maybe the work that I do and like how disrespectful it is for a client to assume that they would get free charges, or free time with me. And so it was definitely an eye-opening experience. I want to reiterate that when you choose a psychic to go into their space, that psychic is holding a lot of space. They're holding space for your energy. They're holding space for the collective that you're spiritually connected to. And they're holding space for just the work that will happen even after the reading is done, because it's all energetically entangled. So Yeah, so if you're a psychic reader, make sure that you're very strict with your boundaries as far as time, as far as how many people are allowed to come into your room, and don't be afraid to set those boundaries. Also, just let it roll off your back when you do get a negative review, because with the sweet, there's always going to be a little bit of sour. So yeah, that's my story for today. I hope it helps you in whatever you're navigating in your life, and reminds you to stand in your sovereignty and your integrity with what you are gifted with, and honor yourself as you honor the other. Thank you so much. We love you and the soul work you do. Mwah.